I'm going to start doing a video series called Archery Explained. In this video series, I'm going to be going over tips and tricks that I pick up from my testing. In this episode of Archery Explained, I'm going to be going over DLoop length and why or why not you should run a long or short DLoop. So a common misconception, especially among bow hunters, but from some target archers too, is that DLoop length, you should run as short of a DLoop as you can so you can run as long of a draw length as you can. And that works if it's a short axle-to-axle bow. So on my hunting bow, which it's not a very short axle-to-axle bow, it's 34 3/4 axle-to-axle spec, and this one measures out closer to 35. But with that, even that, and with the big cams on this particular bow, it being a Matthews, it has a steeper string angle than my target bow, which is a 38-inch bow. It's a Matthews title. But it has a fairly short D-loop. This one, I want to say, is just a little bit under a ½ inch from the string. Actually, let me grab a tape measure right fast. Okay, so now I'm back with a tape measure. So what I'm going to actually measure is the D-loop from the back of the string. So I'm going to get this camera moved around here so that you can see it good. Okay, so I'm back here. And I'm set up with this bow sitting on a workbench here. And I'm going to measure the D-loop. It's important to put a little bit of tension on the loop when you're measuring this. I'm going to start with the inch mark on the back of the string. Make it a little bit easier. So it is right at a ½ inch. Yeah, from the back of the string to the front of the loop is right at a ½ inch. Alright, so now I'm going to grab my 38-inch Matthews Title target bow. So its string angle is going to be a little bit more obtuse. So as you can tell, I'm sure, just by me setting it out here. Let me get this focused up. Alright, so as I'm sure you can tell by just me setting it out here, this D-loop is a lot longer. I actually recently changed this. I was running a D-loop that was very similar in length to my Atlas, my hunting bow. But I decided that I was kind of having to look up to touch my nose to the string. So I decided a longer D-loop and a little bit shorter draw length would allow that string to be a little bit further away from my nose. And let me keep my head in a natural position. So here we are. I'm going to line this up the same. 1 inch mark on the back of the string. And this one is about 13/16. A little bit over 3/4. One thing I do on my target bow versus my hunting bow is I have a much more flexible D-loop material on my Title, which is my target bow, than I do on the Atlas. On my hunting bow, I might need to get my release on the loop quicker so that I can get drawn back and shoot deer. Whereas on my target bow, that doesn't matter. All that matters is accuracy. And I run the more flexible loop material so that if I have any off tilt in my release hand, off from what I normally would do, it'll affect the impact less. Okay, so now I'm going to actually shoot these and show you how on both of these bows I am able to keep my head in a very similar position, even though the string angle is significantly different. So on this bow, I'm shooting gold tip velocities out of it. These are my hunting arrows. So this is the bow with the shorter axle to axle and a shorter D-loop, but its draw length is a little bit longer. which I'll probably go inside here in a minute and put it on the draw board and measure this stuff out for you. So I've shot that. And now, and I know that probably to most of you all, a 1/4 inch does not sound like that much in the D-loop. Which it is slightly over 1/4 inch. It's probably 3/8 of an inch different, but that don't seem like a whole lot to most of you all probably. But it is fairly significant. And so on this bow, this is the longer D-loop, shorter draw length, longer axle to axle. Something that you all probably noticed in that video of me shooting is the string comes further back to the rear of my jaw on the Atlas. And that is because of the shorter D-loop and longer draw length. It pushes the string further back. But this hand is in the same position because that D-loop adjusts your anchor point. And a shorter D-loop will pull the string closer to your nose so that you can be in a little bit more relaxed position instead of dipping your head down in to touch the string with it. So this is a measuring arrow. It's got numbers on it just like a ruler would. And I use it to measure my draw length. I have the Atlas, my hunting bow, with the shorter D-loop in the draw board. So I'm gonna draw it back with this arrow on it, and we'll see how long its draw length plus the D-loop, which on this one was right at a 1/2 inch. Okay, I'm going to ease it up a hair and make sure I'm just barely touching the stops. Okay, we're off the stops, off of them. Alright, right there. So, on this bow, I'm going to rotate the measuring arrow so you can see the numbers. Okay, I guess I won't do that. It's been a little bit difficult, but so through there you can see that the burger hole, through the burger hole, it is 29-inch draw, basically. Overall length to the burger hole from the end of the D-loop is 29.5. So from the burger hole, we are just under 29 on here. So it's like 28 3/4. So the difference is actually, there's a little bit bigger of a difference between the D-loop length versus the draw length difference. So the Atlas is a hair shorter in the overall length from the burger hole to the end of the D-loop than the title is, and that's just by chance. But they're very close. It's about only a 1/16 longer on the title. This is just a little tip I have for basically just the longer axle to axle bows that you might need to put a little bit longer D-loop on them to make the string angle feel good and fit your face. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and have fun out there shooting.